Hello, gorgeous Virgo family, and welcome to October 2020. This is a month to remember, I think, in so many ways. We are in the heart of Mars retrograde this month. Mercury retrograde begins this month, starting in Scorpio and then moving back into Libra. We have two full moons, the Aries full moon on October 1st, the Taurus full moon on October 31st. And we see Saturn and Pluto taking their forward motion in the sky once again in Capricorn. So this is a powerful month for the collective. And Virgo, it's a powerful month for you as well, and it's unique, and there's some very specific things going on with you. And two of the big aspects I want to look at here is, well, there's three actually. One is that Venus is moving through your sign. So I love this for you. It is supportive of you, right? It boosts you up a little bit. It gets you into those beautiful rituals that connect you to the divine wisdom. So it's really great energy infusing you for a good chunk of this month. Of course, we also have Mercury going retrograde. And being your ruling planet, you are kind of used to working with mercurial logic, so I don't really worry about that. And Mercury retrogrades in general, they're so common. We work with about three every year, so this is not news for you guys. It is a time of reflection, review, nourishment, listening in, and it's not a time for the linear, the progression, the chart, the obvious answer, right? And so we've got both of those going on. And also we have Mars retrograde in Aries, which for you, Virgo, specifically has to do with your transformational process and sloughing off a layer and coming into deeper understanding of yourself. So this month speaks to all these aspects within you, but what it really comes down to is I had a really specific message come through for you all, and it came through in a very interesting way. You know how when you're doing a workout, and a lot of us have been working out at home, I know that I sometimes have to watch a video with somebody talking to me to stay on point with that. And I'm always trying out different instructors. And one of the things that instructors sometimes say is you don't need to compare yourself to anybody else, but you do need to compare yourself to the only person you need to compare yourself is to who you were yesterday. And classic me, I'm sitting there working out and I hear that, and whenever I hear that, I start thinking about something felt a little off to me about that sentiment. And I started thinking and feeling through, and I was thinking about how flawed it is to even do comparisons from within, right? Even doing comparisons with just who we are, who we think we need to be tomorrow, who we thought we were yesterday, who this present self is thinking we were yesterday that we need to say was doing worse off than is doing today. You know, whether you're talking about literal weight fluctuations in your body or you're talking about the way you perceive your value on the earth, I'm thinking comparisons have this weird, false, linear structure to them, before and after, worse to better, imperfect, perfect. And how ingrained is this false temporality that doesn't really exist. And this got me tapped right into Virgo energy this month. This is all happening the last few days, because this month is not about you comparing yourself to the past. It's not comparing yourself to who you thought you were supposed to be last month or 2 months ago or last year, or comparing notes on who you think you need to be within the next year. All of that cards like that are off the table, because we are working with both Mars and Mercury retrograde, because we are heading into Scorpio season, which is a very mysterious time where we are asked to come into the deeper mystery, and because we are as a collective going through the last couple of months of both Jupiter and Saturn in Capricorn. This is a time where that linear thinking isn't going to work. This has nothing to do with all the different versions of yourself that you need to be, though. 8 of Cups. Actually, because of what we're talking about, this Eight of Cups has almost a sense of humor to it. Because, what was I just saying? You don't need to compare yourself to who you were in the past, right? And to be honest, to give your past self respect too, because it's like you can think, oh, I'm so much better now. That pathetic person from the past, that's not helpful either, is it? So this month is going to ask you to drop all of that linear time, self-improvement stuff, all of that idea of, from worse to better, from more flawed to less flawed, the devil. Okay. And to just drop all of that and be with what is tapping Seven of Pentacles on your window during the month of October. The thing is that there is so much good information here. The Tower, oh my goodness. Hey, I am riding with you on this, my Virgo family. I have a Virgo moon, so this is quite personal to me as well. And we are working through that Mars retrograde in your 8th house of transformation. So the fact that you've got the Devil in the Tower, we are doing some transformational work at this time. Yes, that is true. We are doing that. But this month is important to drop all the process-oriented, storyline-oriented, movie, screen-oriented type of conversations and to come back to some really good information here in the present moment. And actually, when I think about October, Virgo, I don't feel this sense of stress. I feel a sense of nourishment and a sense of tapping into some really great wisdom. I feel a sense of you using your Virgo energy, some of your innate gifts and talents in very selective and clear and focused and powerful ways. I actually feel like there's a lot of momentum behind you, including that Venus is rolling with you this month. There is a big message here around transformation, around themes around imprisonment and liberation and freedom, and it being okay for you to walk away from the comparisons, and then also just walk away from worrying about who you've been many, many other times, or worrying about who you think you need to be, right? Just like letting that go. That is the first message that comes out with Eight of Cups, because, this card does speak to that stepping away from a table that no longer serves love, right? It symbolizes that process, that brave, courageous point where we just turn away. But it doesn't always have to do with literal things in our life. And the way that this card comes across is more having to do with how you let go of constraints that have to do with who you've been in the past, who you thought you needed to be, and all of that, the gunk that we go through in our minds over and over again. It's okay to just leave that there. It's not actually the tool that's going to get you the results you want. It's not actually the tool that's going to make the things happen. It just appears to be the tool, right? Now, what's really interesting for me is there's movement in that Eight of Cups, and then there's this really grounded, non-moving energy. Devil and Seven of Pentacles. You know what this makes me think about? It's a really interesting message coming through here for me. It makes me think about when, we have something on our mind, something that we, like a conclusion we want to get to, an answer we want to get to, kind of like when a package is going to arrive in the mail, and you have the tracking number and it's taking longer than you expected, and you keep checking the tracking and it hasn't showed up yet, and there's nothing you can do because it's just got to move distances, right? But you still feel like you're thinking about it. You need it by a certain day, what have you, right? And like the wheels turning in your mind over and over again, even though it's not really doing anything for you. That's kind of what this Devil, Seven of Pentacles energy is representing to me. It's that thing where, if we just obsess enough, if we just look over the charts one more time, if we just look over the timeline one more time, if we just go over the details one more time, we'll be able to figure out how to speed things up. We'll be able to figure out how to make it happen more efficiently. We'll be able to figure out how to master the situation and make it what we needed to make it because we think we need to change it drastically, right? That's what this makes me think of. And I think you don't just need to be a Virgo. There are plenty of signs that do this. I think this is a really common coping mechanism this year as well, is to kind of just go over stuff again and again. Here's what's interesting. And I mean, truly, these intuitive messages are kind of blowing my mind right now. I'm learning so much as I'm talking to you guys today. The Tower is saying, you're liberated from that minute, obsessive, going over and going over and going over and going over way of getting things done. The Tower keeps showing up. It's been such a strong card for about a year and a half, I would say, this card, not just for Virgos, just in general, it's been showing up a lot. And part of the work we're doing, part of the work that keeps coming up in this bigger collective moment and in this bigger moment is breaking out of patterning, breaking out of teachings, breaking out of lessons that have been considered standard for decades and centuries, depending on what we're talking about, that are not serving us anymore. And one of those, and for you Virgo, it has to do with the worry and the guilt and the over processing and the comparison, feeling like that's keeping you safe and keeping you padded from possible collision courses. But what that's really doing is it's just using up all this energy, and you're not actually able to hear what it is, the adventure that you're really meant to be going on. In fact, I just have the call to pull one more card for you, because the thing is that there's all this noise here, right? We have the Grounded Devil and Seven of Pentacles kind of like going over the details. Again, we have the Tower, which is like, gotta leave that behind so that I can open the door to something else. The Moon, authentic truth, authenticity, right? Big theme right now during Mars retrograde. You better believe being authentic to ourselves, not self-abandoning, is just the biggest thing. The Moon, to me, like, you have some deep emotional truths that, and your emotions and your ability to feel fully are actually going to be the things that give you some of the best information. And I think sometimes, you know, we go over the details, we comb over the practicalities of something, we comb over what we can do, trying to kind of keep ourselves safe, right? And that's like a tool, and to some extent it does do quite a bit for us. However, there's nothing like letting ourselves feel the full range of our emotions to figure out where we stand with something. I think there's not a more powerful tool set than that very thing. And while we may want to think, okay, in October what I need to do is I need to get everything more in line, lined up, practical, get it made, get it done. This month is telling me, for Virgos, this month, if you let yourself feel, it doesn't have to be 24 hours a day, it doesn't have to be day in, day out, constant, but if you let those little waves of feeling come in a given day, in a given week, and you listen in, you're gonna get such great information. You're gonna know exactly how to move next. And you're going to be able to kind of chart your path that way. So you kind of have to look in the other direction from where you may usually look for that steering and that guidance point, and we often perceive that as kind of a threat to our structure, but it's just because we've been taught that for so long. So this is a really intriguing month, Virgo. You guys have gotten a very mystical message here. A lot of what I'm seeing here in this reading, it will translate to practical things on the ground. It will translate to practical conversations and life shifts and understanding of your path and like why you are where you are in October and how to work with that and why it matters and why it's going to lead to more. But I think this is a soul level conversation going on here. And just to hammer this home, the full moon cycle this month is going to be really powerful for you, Virgos, because it's a full moon in Aries in your 8th house of transformation on the 1st. And on the end of the month, it's a full moon in Taurus, fellow earth sign, 9th house, illuminating the big picture. So you can kind of imagine this month as one giant opening up and coming out from underground to understand. So don't be afraid to go with it. It's okay, you're held here. I have some affirmations to share with you for October. Here they are. I am curious about what is to come. I welcome exploring my new shape. I am growing and learning without the need for comparison. I am safe in my explorations. I love that one. I am safe in my explorations. You know, we are safe to explore our emotions. We are safe to explore what's deep within us. We are safe to explore our inner knowings. We are safe to create a little space to go and do that. So important. I'm going to be offering a lot of extra support for both Mars and Mercury retrograde over on Patreon. You can find me on Instagram and on my website as well. It's all linked through Sarah Verba, and I'll leave all the links below as well. And of course, you can find PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry on her Etsy shop. I'll leave her link below as well. I will see you all next month for November readings and also for Moon Magics ahead. I love my Virgo clan so much. Have a beautiful October and speak to you soon.